How you doing? This is your guest host. I'm sorry, backwards. Dyslexia. This is your host, Jesse, and my guest here, Mr. David Ferozy. Mr. Ferozy, would you like to say hello to the audience and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is David Ferozy. I'm an attorney. I run the law offices of it's actually Ferozy Law Group, and we are accident attorneys, but we do a lot of other stuff too. And looking forward to discussing all those things with you today, Jesse.
Same here. I been a little out of practice. I'm sorry. I think my last podcast was December, with our previous guest, which was Spirit. Very interesting character, and I'm hoping this is kind of like my next step in bringing on more guests. So you're kind of the one of a few that I hope to bring on more. I want to make this a regular thing. I love conversating. I love, introducing people to my audience and the world. And, it's a good little like bookmark, just a bookmark in life, kind of where we're at. This could be like, I don't know, 10 years down the road. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember I did that podcast and like, oh, look where I was at once upon a time. And you kind of see the difference. So yeah, man, just I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Go ahead and tell us a little more about you.
I'm actually a former insurance defense attorney. I've worked
Mm,
for large insurance companies, namely State Farm, Progressive, AAA. So got a lot of background there, and I know how to deal with the insurance claims adjusters. I also know the claims process and exactly how they, try to devalue claims and the arguments that they make to
yeah,
lowball accident victims. I mean, at the end of the day, what we got to remember is, I've dealt with this a lot since opening my firm, is that a lot of people are afraid of making claims because they think that personal injury has, notoriously probably, but a lot of people believe that personal injury has been is like an area where it was taboo, right? We don't want to make a
mhm,
personal injury claim. What if, somebody says something and or I'm just embarrassed to admit that I'm injured.
yeah,
So, on that aspect, I tell my clients and potential clients that, hey, you know, this is for your recovery, right?
yep,
Um,
absolutely.
and there's a reason why I started doing this. I was involved in two accidents when I was younger, one as a pedestrian, one as a driver.
Mm,
I was injured in both, but I'd say
mm,
this the second accident more so, but didn't get any treatment for those exact reasons where I'm
mm,
like, hey, this is embarrassing. It takes a lot of time to go to these doctor's appointments. Is it even worth it? How much is my claim valued at? Like my time is money. Um, but years have gone by, and I just turned 40 last year. And as you know, Jesse, once you
congrats.
hit 40,
Well, it's that milestone that people just like, but
yeah,
really it's quite the accumulation of life that you've lived. And, this is a good chance right now to archive that life. So 40 years, man.
40
What
years
stands out to you? Tell us a little bit about the early years. Anything stand out to you that you want to share?
from my younger years,
Hmm?
or are we talking about the younger years or now?
Younger years, childhood, teenage,
Uh,
young adult,
everything
anything
hits when
that
you're
stands out.
everything hits after 40 in one day. Everything you've done, right? All
Mm,
the pains, all that good stuff. It's important to be
yes.
healthy. I think when you're younger, it's really important to be healthy. I think you learn a lot as you're growing, but when you're younger, you always think you know
Mm.
everything, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, you kind of get in this little almost cocky, confident type of thing. I mean, that's why I guess young men go to war because they're like, hell
yeah,
yeah, let's grab the guns, let's go because they
like
feel
Call of
invincible.
Duty.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
feel like invincible. You feel like, yeah, I'm a full-grown adult and I could take on the world. But
yeah.
yeah, there's still a lot to learn, man. I'm 43 and I am still learning new things. That's why I like having these conversations that you and me have because every time we have a conversation, it's always like, oh, okay, I learned something new, or maybe I'll ask you something about something maybe that you could help clarify because of your expertise. So it's always like a constant learning, and yeah, I just like having associations with good, intelligent people.
I,
So
I
you're
think
one of
that's
them.
No, I appreciate that, man. I think that's one thing you start to value as you get older, right?
Yeah.
Having a crowd of sophisticated individuals around you, because that's your network then, and you want to have that support, that team, right?
Yeah.
Because you're navigating through life, and now you've gotten your experiences, and now you're taking somebody else's experiences, and you're blending it together.
Mm.
And man, that's a beautiful thing, right? Because everybody, no two people have the same experiences in life, and this is not just
Yeah.
education; it's just life experiences. Yeah,
It helps also to just soundboard off of, like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this.
yeah,
Uh, what are your thoughts? If you were me, like, it's like, let's Freaky Friday this and switch
yeah,
positions and roles. If you were me, like, what would you do?
yeah.
So yeah, it's always great, and it also um helps articulate better. You always find new ways of expressing yourself.
A
And
hundred
so
percent.
I like the fact that we kind of made a drinking game on one of my previous podcasts where how long you could keep talking without saying or long pause,
Yeah,
so
that's
you
a
could
tough
keep
one.
those. Yeah, it is. And like if we're drinking, cheers, my whiskey. So you see, there I go again. But it helps, it helps sharpen the tools, man. So being able to, as just being able to articulate and express yourself, what ideas or what thoughts you want to get across. When you have somebody like you that I could kind of talk and associate myself with, and kind of just like, all right, I could kind of soundboard this and be like, well, do I sound like an idiot? Or, this is good practice, like I don't want to sound like an idiot. Like when it comes to like, you're trying to talk to clients or new people, it's like, this gives us a good chance to talk. So,
I think that's the benefit, right? Like you and I think we bounce off ideas off each other all the time,
yes.
and especially in our respective businesses, right? We come together and we kind of like, hey, what do you think of this? And I think that
Mhm.
that aspect of us, kind of like it's like a brainstorm session, right? And
Yes.
it unlocks a new level,
Yes.
realistically, right? And then we're like, holy cow, I didn't even think
Mhm.
of it like that. So I think that's the beauty of as we get older and we realize, hey, knowledge is power. And you come across someone that's as sophisticated, if not more sophisticated than you, like I see you, and then we talk, and then it's like, whoa,
Mm.
like what we're
Yep.
talking about, what we're unlocking is really unlocking another level. I think we've dealt with a lot of different obstacles and overcome them individually.
Yeah, especially in our prof professions, we deal with
Yeah,
different personalities, and how do you deal with them? How do you manage people's expectations? How do you manage people's, just little quirks, we all come across those people that just kind of like, all right, you got to keep your cool. And that's what
yeah,
I try to do. That's kind of, I pride myself in that. Like, you know what? People are going to talk, and they're going to talk about whatever, heat of the moment, passionate about whatever thing didn't get done or something they need. You just, people want that. People want that, little like, hey, I'm on top of it, I'm gonna take care of it for you, but also manage their expectations, manage their personalities, and sometimes be direct, or sometimes just be a little more kind. You kind of just massage the situation as you see fit. So it helps, man. Practice. I'm always like, that's why I like doing this, because it's a good practice to just talk and articulate and just, yeah, I know I'm repeating myself.
no, that's one of the things that I've come across, just as in my role as an attorney. That's what I've come across is that you come across peers who are who people get a little bit cocky after
Mhm.
they've achieved a certain level of education or a certain level of success in their respective fields, right?
Yes.
And I think it's important to be humbled and come down to earth, because we deal with people every day. We deal with, we're advocating for
You
them.
you kind of hit a nail on the head right there when you said humble, and I like that. So I'm gonna switch gears. Speaking about a nice slice of humble pie, and Shador Sanders, dropping down to the fifth round. Nice slice of humble pie, and I heard all the chatter. I mean, um, I'm just gonna just segue into that, a little sport. So, I mean, you tell me, where are your thoughts on that?
I've been having some discussions about this, and initially I was like, "Man, he slipped through the whole first round. Like somebody's got to
Hmm.
get him." I wanted my Niners to take him, even though we
Okay.
got Brock Purdy out there. But then, as you hear the reports coming out, and you actually see him celebrating like he's a first round pick,
Yeah.
it gives you an inclination that hey, this is probably not the guy you want that's to represent and lead your franchise. The culture starts with the quarterback, I think, right?
Mm.
And I don't think that Shador. I mean, I think he has high demands because of
Mm.
his namesake, right? He's a Sanders, and there's a lot of respect and legend that goes with Deion Sanders and being his son. But I think that take it
Mm.
seriously. This is a job. You got. I mean, think about it. If you're an owner of a team and you're going to pay this kid millions of dollars, what are you going to look for? You're going to look at character. And if he's showing up to interviews unprepared, I mean, I get it. Players bomb their interviews all the time, but he bombed the entire combine, and that's a
Well, I heard
problem.
he didn't even show up to the combine.
He didn't even show up to it. That's even
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah, I mean, he was very much like dictating what he wanted to do and who he wanted to interview with and talk with. And yeah, there was all these clips surfacing online. It was like him and Cam Ward were kind of conversating. Is, hey man, let's make a rap song. It's like, no man, I play football. I've seen that
Yeah.
blasted everywhere. And that's probably another reason why, like, Cam Ward probably knew, like, no, like, I want people to know me as a football player first, not somebody that's over here on social media trying to get followers, trying to get likes, trying to do it, marketing for his legendary brand. And that was a little slice of humble pie, man.
And
So
that's the thing. I think that you got players like um, Ashley G.A.T. You got players like you know
yes,
Abdul Carter. These
that's my
guys,
team.
they worked hard their entire lives to get to where they are. They weren't handed anything, right? And they showed up to every single interview. They showed up to the combine. They put their
Mhm.
their feet their best foot forward. How would it make sense to give Shador a higher draft position than them, right?
Mhm.
By dictating and doing what he did, I get a lot of players do it these days, but it dropped him down to the fifth
Mhm.
round to an organization that I'd say a lot of people don't think is one of the best organizations for him to be with, the Browns, right?
As the track record for just where quarterbacks go to die. They've
Yeah,
been looking for that franchise quarterback. I can't even remember the last time they had an all-star quarterback or a Pro
they
Bowl.
had they had Baker Mayfield at one point, right?
Yeah,
And what?
exactly. And then he left and had a career in Tampa.
And yeah, he continues to have a career, which is crazy. They're not
Yeah,
going to
so it's
develop
like,
him,
mm-mm,
and
no.
you got. I think their depth chart is like. I mean, you take away Deshaun Watson because he's probably going to get waived, but
Yeah,
you got about what four QBs on that in that depth chart. It's going to be a tough one.
yeah. So I
But
anyway.
you're a Raider. Are you a Raiders fan?
Oh, of course, man.
You
Yeah,
must
it's
be
my
happy with what
squad.
they did. You must
Oh,
be super happy with what they did.
bro, we picked up some solid wide receivers, a running back, some solid offensive linemen.
But
I'm happy. I'm over the
but
moon.
but how do you feel that your running back is guaranteed the most second? I guess you could say, Saquon Barkley has the most guaranteed, but second
Mhm.
to Saquon Barkley,
Yep.
he has your running back's guaranteed is up there. How do you feel about that?
I don't like this top 10, system of like, if you're number one overall, you get guaranteed this much money. If you're a top 10, you get guaranteed. I didn't like that, kind of what ruined us when we got like a Jamarcus Russell. It just, we had to pay him what, like 60 something million or something. Like at the time, that was a lot of money. Now it's like, but still, that's a lot of money to spend on someone that hasn't played one snap, that, they're a bust that can't, they were a bust, but someone that can be a bust now. It's like you don't know. And you gotta you're promised that much money. It's like, I don't know.
I mean,
I
I
think they
think
need to revisit that.
I think so too. I think you gotta. I mean, I think Ashton is worth that money based on what we've seen at the college
Mhm.
level, and I think his game will translate well into the NFL, into the pros. But I do think that we don't know what the wear on his body will be like.
Yeah. I think this is a lot of reasons why a lot of teams trade back in the draft just because I don't want to pay no
Yeah,
40, 50 million dollars for someone I don't know. I could go back to the middle of the pack and pay him a half decent wage.
yeah,
Um, but I don't know. It's I still think it's all rigged. Especially with the
yeah.
Chiefs. But anyways,
I mean, you just gotta wear that pinstripe shirt. And, you're good. You're getting drafted to the Chiefs.
yeah, man. But
But
anyways, changing topics again because I know I got off sidetrack and I know we are talking about us and us talking and conversating. I forgot you were going on another rant. So I don't I sidetracked this quite a bit. So I try to keep things pretty balanced. So not to be stuck on one topic or one thing so much. So
yeah,
uh, I'll let you take it from here. What was it you were talking about before I interrupted?
honestly, I don't remember
I don't remember either.
where.
But yeah, I
No,
mean, I tell you what we're doing right now. You're probably gonna get a lot of like in the comment section. So everybody in the comment section, hey, David Ferozy, if you need legal advice, if you're not like, oh, what's his number? If you want to shout it out, you can shout it out now. I usually do it till the end of the video, but you could promo yourself, kind of a little bit right now and just tell us where can people contact you.
yeah, give me a call. You can call me at 949-990-3400. That's my office line. I answer all calls. It'll come directly to me. You'll get straight access. And uh, another beautiful thing is if you're a client, you get my cell phone. So any time of the
Yeah.
day, you know, there for you like your own personal legal assistant or your own personal lawyer. So yeah, 949-990-3400. Feel free to
I,
give us a
I
call.
will say out there, I will praise David for helping us out in a couple of pinches, just uh, money that was owed, money that we owed, kind of helped straighten out some things for us, just kind of took that initiative when we asked for help and came up with strategies that obviously we're not the lawyer, we're not the expert, but I was impressed with his work ethic. I was impressed with his just being able to stay on top of things because you probably you probably hear about public defenders or people that are just get piles of work on top of them and just don't have time for you. David does. David is on top of it. That's why I always tell him, like, I always sing his praises, and without him, I don't know. You helped
It's
us
been
out, and I love it. Which I'm speaking on behalf of Koba Energy. Which FYI, you can contact me if you ever have any charging needs. Please contact us, Jesse at KobaEnergy.com. As my little promo.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I don't quite have that little flair like what were those cheesy commercial guys that we grew up on? I mean, the first one that comes to mind is like Cal Worthington, Go see Cal, go see Cal. I don't know. Can you think of any other ones?
Better Call Saul, man. We didn't grow up on that, but that's a show full of cheesy
Yeah.
commercials.
Hmm.
What about the
What's that?
that commercial?
Your mattress is free.
Yeah, yeah. It's my money. I want it now.
Oh, there you go. What was his
Yeah.
name? Larry H. Parker?
No, I think that was
Or who are you
can't,
thinking of? Because I'm thinking Larry H. Parker.
no, I was thinking about this. I think it was something general.
Oh, the general
I think so.
insurance.
Like general. Yeah, yeah. It's not an
One eight
insurance company,
hundred
though.
General
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Or the other guy, Survivor Insurance. I can't take that ride. Or the guy offers him, or the lady offers the guy a ride
Yeah.
and just says like, "Do you have insurance?" So yeah. Do you have full coverage? No. He's like, I can't take that ride, or something
I,
like that. I'm pretty sure I butchered it, but.
I think I'll tell. This is a good place to tell your viewers, hey, if you don't have any insurance, I strongly recommend you get some for your
What
car, at least
insurance?
when you're driving. Any automobile insurance.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
it's so many people who don't. Man. You'd be
Mhm.
surprised. And if you're hit by
Well, it's
somebody who
because
doesn't,
yeah, a lot of people are probably buying a used car. I think used cars still don't really ask for insurance. But when you buy a brand new car or from the you take out a loan for one, yeah, the first thing they always tell you, like, you got to get insurance.
or even just like you buy a used car, a brand new car, or even if you're renewing
Mm,
insurance, a lot of people let their insurance lapse.
mm,
And you'd be surprised how many people get in car accidents in that small time frame.
yes.
And it's like a warranty, right? Your electronics are doing perfectly fine until that warranty runs out, and then boom, it breaks down, right?
Yeah.
Um, Same thing with insurance. The moment you don't have it is the moment you're going to need it. And I've come across a lot of people who don't have insurance and or automobile insurance, and what that does is it limits your ability to collect on pain and suffering. So you'll get your medical bills paid, but pain and suffering, you're not going to get that paid, and that's
Yes.
that's going to have to deal a lot with the injuries you have. That's a large chunk of any settlement. And then also, if you're hit by an uninsured driver, you got no one to, you got no recourse available unless you have uninsured motorist coverage or underinsured motorist coverage in your added as a coverage under your insurance policy. So definitely make sure your insurance policy take a look at. If you haven't gotten to take a look at, you don't know what anything something means, give me a call. Happy to look at it for you guys.
What do you think of those uh Adriana Insurance or Veronica Insurance? Uh, what do you think of those insurance companies? I'm just kind of
Smaller
curious.
insurance companies,
Yeah, I mean, are they just all a gimmick, or do they
you know,
help people out? I mean,
I'm dealing with one right now, and what they like to do is when they'll look to the policy for every little possible reason to find an exclusion to not give you coverage when you need
yeah,
it.
I had
I
that
deal with
happen to me too when I was involved in, like, I think a 3 or 4 car pileup, and I told them straight out, like, hey, like, somebody hit me, or somebody hit them that hit me.
yeah,
And I was trying to, like, well, I'm trying to get insurance from the person that hit me. He said, oh, well, they weren't at fault because they were hit. So it's like,
chain reaction.
okay, but they hit me though. So it's like, their car physically hit me. So I don't know. They changed the language where it was like, no, we can't pay you. So
Yeah, no, they should pay you because even if it was two cars back, I mean that still triggers something with a chain reaction.
oh, you know what it was? I think it was like 4 cars, and 2 of the cars left.
Yeah.
And I stayed, and the person that was kind of like the second car stayed, and then we swapped insurance. I don't know. I
Oh,
waited I waited forever. I don't know, just for the
yeah.
claims. I was like, I should have just gone through my insurance company. It would have been way faster, just to get things fixed.
So
But
let's ask you this question, Jesse. Did you
what?
have uninsured motorist coverage at that time?
I had full coverage. So
No,
I
no, no,
mean,
no. Uninsured motorist coverage. It's an optional coverage you can have in your
okay.
insurance.
Probably not.
So you guys add that right away.
Get it right now.
Yes.
Gotta jump out the screen. Like,
Pop on
get
out,
now.
right?
That could be the new promo on the loop, like, get it now.
Yeah.
Or else I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it comes
get
out.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to,
Oh
like, turn
man.
you into the next Cal Worthington here. So we
Some
all
of
gotta
these,
have a gimmick. I don't know. People have, like, little whatever gimmicks. They
yep.
dress up, they use whatever.
Ferocious Ferozy, we ferociously advocate for you. There you go. All
There you
right,
go,
boom,
man. Maybe
gimmick
like
made.
wrap your or do like a UFC, with some UFC gloves. I'm
Yeah.
ferociously gonna fight for you. So,
Put up a knockout. All right.
all right. You follow UFC?
No, I haven't in a while. I really haven't watched UFC. I haven't had time to watch UFC.
Me either, man. So,
Jeez, I mean, I
as
think the
much as a
last fight.
guy, yeah, that I follow other sports, I don't know, UFC just I think I lost the interest of it when there was a lot of just ground and pound, guys just kind of grappling. I'm like, they're not really fighting like the old
Yeah.
days.
The
The old
knockouts are
days. Yeah.
gone. I mean, it was kind of fun to watch when McGregor was, the McGregor and Nate Diaz days. Those days were fun.
Yeah.
Because you could see Nate Diaz taking hits after hits after hits. This guy never went down.
Yeah.
And even if he did, he got right back up, like bleeding, everything, blood all over his face.
Hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How about those Warriors?
Well, you tell me, man. They
Man,
they're
I
they're
got
up in
I
the
got a
series, right? Or did they sweep the series or win the series, or are they still
they're they're 3-1, so they're one win away from advancing.
okay?
Yeah, yeah. They're I got them going all the way in my bracket. A lot of people might not like that. I might say, ha ha, you're fooling yourself, but trust me.
Mhm.
With Jimmy Buckets, it's totally different.
Yeah. No, I like Steph, man. I give, the Warriors a better shot than the Lakers.
Yeah, I think the Lakers are still they need that one additional piece, and I really thought Mark Williams would have been that piece for them.
Mm.
Um, just didn't work out. Right, probably rightfully so because he's had a ton of injuries. I had him in fantasy this year, and
Okay.
he missed a ton of games.
My Bulls, that they
Yeah,
got beat by what, Miami. So I was really hoping they'd have more of a fighting chance, but it was like a one game play-in tournament,
yeah.
and yeah, they got their ass whooped.
You think you guys are trading Vucevic this offseason?
I don't know, man. With this like team, they made all these changes. I didn't like it, but it turned out to be okay. And then Lonzo Ball, and so I was like, I don't know, man. So it's like it's hard to
Did
get
they
excited,
resign?
huh?
Did they resign Lonzo?
No, I think he still has to honor his contract. So he's just been out healthy. So or out sick or injured, and I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know why he was injured for so long. He was like out for like almost 2, 3 years.
yeah, I think
So
he has some bad knees, man, or ankles.
yeah, and
It's
he's
just
still
all bad.
hurt. It's
Yeah,
like what the hell, man?
he played a little bit last year. I think Giddy's been good for you guys. Giddy's been awesome.
He's really good, yeah.
That's
And
been a
Cody
solid.
Cody White too, man. He's been like,
The kid's been awesome too.
yeah,
Who else you guys got? You guys got I don't know, Patrick Williams. I don't think he's living up to the hype that was
no,
initially brought in. But Vucevic, I mean, I feel like Sacramento's going to make that move for Vucevic and just bring back the what used to be the Bulls to Sacramento. I mean, they got DeMar DeRozan, they got Zach LaVine.
Zach
All you need
LaVine,
is Vucevic now, right?
yeah,
Make the trifecta. Apparently, they're going to be letting go of what's his name, Sabonis, because
okay.
they don't want to pay him. They don't want to pay those
Yeah.
players their value.
Did you see that video that DeMar DeRozan he like attacked a fan that put a camera in his face?
I did not see that.
Yeah, yeah, he was just kind of like the guy was like streaming himself. He was looking at his phone. He was like da da da, and then all of a sudden he like kind of selfies the phone over to him and like, hey man, say what's or let me ask you about this. And he was like, dude, get that phone off me. Like he like slapped it
Uh,
off and kind of shoved the guy off him. So because I mean, yeah, he doesn't know you, and you go up to a stranger and you shove a phone in his face. And of course, I'm gonna react, man.
but
I
yeah,
don't
but
know.
he's not like a private individual, right? He's a celebrity. Um,
Yeah,
Celebrities, it's likely going to happen to celebrities when you're a
mhm.
public figure like that. Uh, it happens.
Yeah, but I should give anybody a right to do that, man, because
I
that's
don't
how.
think you should. I don't think anybody has a right to do that, but it happens, right?
Yeah. And I was watching this podcast with Mr. Ben Affleck, and he was actually talking about that. So you probably seen that famous meme of him like outside having a cigarette and just like,
Oh yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
just kind of like frustrated. And he's like, yeah, what was going on that day? And he was like, man, I don't know. It was the paparazzi. They were probably just taking a picture, and I was just like over it. He was like, just eye rolling in, just having a cigarette, just want to be left alone. But yeah, he's constantly in the public eye, and Yeah, I
Well, I
mean,
think paparazzi goes crazy, right? They go to super like extreme lengths to just get a photograph of someone.
well,
So
more so they try to invoke a reaction out of them. So they're like, poking the bear with the stick and trying to like, oh man, he attacked me. He's oh, well, I'm gonna sue you. Like, oh, you damaged my camera. You slapped my iPhone out of my hand. Like,
it
and
makes for
then
good content, right?
yeah, I was like, oh, I feel threatened. I feel attacked. It's like,
It's
people are
uh,
people, regardless if they're celebrities, regardless of their money, their fame. Just don't be an
that's
asshole.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. You show some respect for the people that you see out there. It makes sense. I mean, you know, as a celebrity, you can you'd expect it, but at the same time, I get it. Sometimes people are sitting down with their family, their kids, they're having you know dinner or lunch or whatever it is, and they just want that moment with their children or just with their loved ones. And um, yeah, you got to respect that at times. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's a weird culture that we live in, man. Like not even like fame, but being infamous too. Like people search for that on the internet, like they're trying to be famous, they're trying to be infamous. Oh, I was the person that did this thing. Like a Hawk Tuah girl, like, oh yeah, like you spit on that thing and
Yeah.
you're just I don't know,
That
man.
gave rise to a lot of fantasy football team names, man. Anybody who had Tua this year, that team name was Hawk Tua, right?
Yeah.
Hawk Tua. So
Yeah. I mean, she did her old cryptocurrency too, man. Did you hear about that one? She scammed a few people. It was your typical pump and dump, with the
no way.
cryptocurrency. Yeah, they had her Haktua coin. So yeah, there's so you know who you would like? There's this guy called CoffeeZilla. That's all he does is like investigative journalism,
Yeah,
but he just does good content, but he investigates all these celebrities that are doing these cryptocurrencies and doing the pump and dump where they hype it up, they get all their followers, they get people of other followers, hey, buy into
yeah,
this coin, buy into this coin. And then the people that like made the coin, they sell off their shares. And so, they raise the value up and then they sell it at the high value and then they cash out before anyone else could. So it's kind of messed up, but yeah, that's kind of the latest trend going on is the cryptocurrency pump and dump. So
have you invested in any cryptocurrency?
I did not. No, my friend told me a long time ago, and shout out to Jermaine. I should have back when Bitcoin was at $5,000.
When was that? How long ago?
I think and you could probably fact check me on this. You could probably look it up. But this was in during COVID or before COVID. So it was right around then. But he's like, dude, like it because it was like up and down. So it was like at one point, I think back then, I think at a high point it was like 15,000, and then it just dropped down to 5,000 or under 5,000. He's like, dude, get it right now, get it right now. And I didn't. I fucked up. And what was at the highest peak? I think it reached 160,
Mhm.
120,000. I don't know, somewhere around there. Uh,
Uh,
yeah, that would have been a great investment. I got in on
uh,
Tesla. I
you
got a
got in
little,
Tesla?
yeah, I got a little Tesla stock before it, shot up and it split it. But no, I cashed out. I only made like 1,000 profit.
How's the Tesla stock doing right now?
Not good.
Yeah.
It is. It was at I think at a high point like 500 or so. I think it's down to 200s, maybe under 200.
Did you see
Uh,
that shift since the new administration took over as since Trump became president, or is that something that you
Yeah,
saw
it's
happening
all
before.
because of that. It's all because of his association with Trump and all that. You give a person enough rope, they're gonna hang themselves. As you can tell me, this little Nazi salute.
Well, I
I
don't
think
know
that was
why
it.
he
That was
did
like,
that.
pew.
I don't know why he did that. Especially now you got people
He's a
attacking
weirdo.
the three, right?
He was
Like,
actually someone I legit like admired for he was doing so much, you know, back before the pandemic, during the pandemic, he was like trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to, help humanity really. Now
yeah.
he's just like trying to make a bunch of kids. He's politicized himself with the administration, trying to get tax credits, trying to get that federal money for his SpaceX. That's where the real trillions are going to be at, man.
Or
Just
when he
just
was advertising the Tesla in front of the White House, right? Like he's trying to push up like his stock, but I don't think it's happening. I
doesn't
mean,
work that way.
we got a Y, you got a Tesla, I got a Tesla, and
I
it's
like the
kind of like,
car. I don't care about the CEO or founder, or he's not even the founder. People think he's the founder, but he didn't even found it. He bought it. Um, yeah, you know what? Him aside, it's a great car. I love my Tesla. You love it. It's fast. It's efficient. It's all you need, man. It's the bare bones. Where it's like I always say, it's the perfect chick car because it's low maintenance. You don't
it
have to do
is.
oil changes. You don't have to do brake flush, or I mean, I change my brakes just 4 years or every 4 years. So,
Yeah. Yeah, you don't got to do a lot with it. I mean, some tire rotations here and there, really, in the first like 4 years of having that car, will keep it going.
mhm.
No oil change, no, I mean, and every time you take it in for some kind of service, all the fluids are topped off.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think the
Especially if you're a
warranty is really
local.
good.
Yeah, if you're a local driver, perfect, man. You just
Yeah,
drive around, you do your 30, 40 miles. You probably don't have to charge until like a week.
yeah,
And yeah, it saves you so much money compared to gas.
yeah. I think like even if you look at, I mean, you can tell me how much non-Tesla EV chargings, come out to, but I think
Yeah, it
even like
gives
at
you the
a
comparables.
yeah, I mean, I think it takes about, I don't know how long yours takes, but mine's is a mid-size SUV, or ours is a
Mhm.
mid-size SUV, and that one takes maybe about like 30 to 40 minutes to reach 100%. But even
Mhm.
then, man, when you stop anywhere, even for long distance driving, you got to stop every so often, right?
Yeah.
And that's a good opportunity to let your car charge, get some coffee, reset, and get back on the road and drive.
Well, I mean, I like it, but I don't like driving it long distance. So when I
You
go to
don't?
Vegas, no, when I go to Vegas or Sacramento, we'll take our other car because I hate stopping. I'm that guy like, let me just drive through everything. And the Sonata that we do have, like it is like 560 miles of range. And yeah, I took it all the way to Sacramento on one gas tank. So
What?
yeah.
That's pretty good. How long did it take you?
Like 7 hours.
Yeah, I went to Sacramento with the Tesla, and
Mhm.
it took about um
Probably like 10 or
nine
12.
no, 9 hours. 9 hours.
Okay, 9 hours.
Yeah. It's
So just
9 hours.
charge, charge, charge.
Yeah, there's some charging stations along the way that are like like even faster than superchargers. And I think I would leave the car plugged in for like 20 minutes
It,
and
it's
boom.
it's funny. I'll tell a quick little story, but Zaki was up there with the Cybertruck. And he called me. He's like, "Hey Jesse, like I'm about to die. There's only like 5%. Like, what do I do?" I'm like, "Well, first of all, uh, turn off all your electricals, turn off all your ACs and your heat or anything like that. Turn off the radio, and then just drive slow, like
Yeah,
40 miles an hour,
yeah,
until you
yeah,
get to the next station." So
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just kind of funny, man. Yeah, like if you're that girl that forgets to plug in, I mean, it'll remind you,
yeah.
it'll just shut off, you know?
Well, that's the thing. It's like if you just kind of put your destination in, it'll plan out the whole map for you, right? The whole route,
Yeah.
with charging stops, right?
Yeah.
So uh, it's nice in that sense. But I usually do stop and let it charge for much longer at each. Maybe so then it'll get rid of an extra stop for me.
Yeah.
So I'll stop maybe twice on the trip to Sacramento rather than 4 times.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm of the mindset just enough to get to the next one, enough to get to the next one. So that way it's like I spend less time. I'm like, okay, 10 minutes. Because I'll do that. Like sometimes it'll like I'll drive from San Diego. And that's the only time really like where I gotta charge it is like driving all the way to San Diego if I'm local. San Diego and then come back and then I'll just charge for like 5 or 7 minutes. And I'm like, all right, you got enough to get back to make it home. Because I got a home charger and then I just plug in at home. So
how long does it take to charge at home?
typically I always drop it where I need to charge it. I stay relatively good, so I always top it off. So some days I'll be like at 120 or 130, and I'll just top it off and take 3 hours. Other
That's
days I'll
not
be
bad.
like down to like 40 miles, 6 hours. So
Okay, so you just leave it in overnight.
yeah, I just plug it in overnight.
You got a level 2 charger or a level 3 charger, Jesse. There you
Two,
go.
yeah, level two.
There you go. So educate us. What is the difference between a level 2 and level 3?
Well,
That's
in the industry, a level two charger is typically your residential or commercial charger that takes either 240 volts or 208 volt. And on the low end, yeah, you could do 30 amps, you could do 40 amps, 48 amps. Some have a strong enough charger that could take all the way up to like 100 amps. Um, that's pretty much where the cutoff point is at that 200 and or 208 volt. When you go into level three, it's 480 volt. So 480 volt on the low end, you could do 30 kilowatts, which is about, I want to say about like 80 amps. But you're getting more output. So that voltage will make the difference. So you're getting much faster charge. And then from the 30 kilowatts, you go to like I think 60 kilowatts, 60 kilowatts to like 100 kilowatts, 120 kilowatts, 160 kilowatts, 180. Just the more kilowatts, the faster you're going to charge. So to give you an
what's
idea, like the Tesla superchargers, those ones range anywhere from like I want to say like 75 kilowatts all the way up to like what's the most
250?
yeah, 250. I think I've
Yeah.
seen those out there. And those ones will charge you just super quick. But they work on a slow charge at first. Like say if you're down to like 20 miles, they do a slow charge and then they'll peak up like at the mid range all the way to like 100 and then they'll start dropping off slowly because your battery can't take consistently full max power. Your
Yeah.
battery can only take just a little bit, otherwise you'll damage it. So that's why they say like supercharging it all the time, it'll decrease your battery range by the degradation of the battery. So it'll lose the range. So
But
that's why I
all I
stop.
got around me is superchargers.
Huh?
I said all I got around me is superchargers.
Oh, you don't have a home charger?
No, no, no.
Oh. Well, we're working on getting a work charger for you. So we're gonna
Oh
install,
yeah.
yeah. And so we're working on a couple of projects, and that property includes one of them. So we're working with some partners, some great manufacturers, some great third parties, and we're trying to work on this next stage in Koba. And we want to. we want to like open up this new venture of owning and operating certain properties for the charging station. So what we call them is Koba centers. You know, we want to kind of have that little um, environment where you can kind of
Yeah.
like shop for coffee. We have some conceptual drawings. So
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like I've heard about those plans you guys got. I think those are gonna be pretty cool. Really
yeah,
gonna be really
so
cool.
it's a very uh like fruitful venture because it's like basically just you're paying for a gas station, but you don't have to keep bringing in the trucks
Yeah.
and refueling the tanks. It's just everything's already there, everything's already with the utility company, so it's just plug and play. The only thing you really got to worry about is vandalism. That's it, which
Well,
we get that quite often.
have you heard about or seen the Tesla drive-in charging stations? Drive and dine in. Have
No,
you heard about those? They look pretty cool.
elaborate. What do you mean?
So they have it in Los Angeles apparently. And
Mm,
I saw it pop up on Facebook, and it's like a I guess just all Teslas superchargers are maybe not superchargers, but they're charging stations, and you back your car and you park it, and there's
mm,
like big old TV screens all around.
mhm.
So you're watching a movie, you can order food to your car while
Hmm.
while your car charges.
No, I haven't heard that one.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you got an address, text it to me. So I'd love to see
Yeah,
it.
I'll send you it. I'll look it up. I saw it on Facebook pop up the other day, and I was like, wow, this is. It says set to
Yeah.
open soon, so I think it's opening. Either it's opening soon or it's already open.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
I'm always interested. So we have a couple opportunities and properties in LA, which I really want to get on the ground floor of that, only because the Olympics are going to be there in 2028. So the world is going to be coming. So I'm trying to think, are we still going to be under the Trump administration? Probably.
that's. I think that's the election year. So yeah, we'll still be in
Yeah.
the Trump administration.
So hopefully, oh, when's the World Cup?
2026, no, it's next
Yeah,
year.
I think it's next year. Yeah, and we got a
That's
lot
gonna
of.
be big.
So again, there a lot of spotlight in California.
Yeah,
So I love it. I love that we're getting World Cup and the Olympics, and then we just got ranked like what, the fourth largest economy in the world,
yep,
just on its own.
yep.
So I love it if we could just forget the rest of the Americas. We're good on our own.
Like swap us out for Canada, right? You can have Canada and just make us our own nation.
Yeah, we'll be like one partnership, just whoop, that whole coast. So we could be one half Canadian, one half Mexico.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Legally, there's been a lot going on,
Yeah,
especially.
let's get your input. You as a lawyer, you've dealt with some immigration. How fucking nut
Yeah,
is this? I mean, you tell me, just starting with that what's the guy's name from Maine, or where is he? The Garcia guy. What are
yeah,
your thoughts on that?
yeah. I haven't been following all the new stuff because there's just so much going on, right? There's so much going on, and it's hard to keep track of
I
it.
think maybe that's the way to just make it the norm.
Overwhelmed.
Just throw so much garbage, throw so much chaos that you almost get used to it. You're like, fuck it.
It's
It's
like
all bad.
so you look at it like this, right? This is how I look at it. It's I get why we need to limit immigration and we need some stricter rules. We did let in just about anybody the last 4 years. I don't think there
Mm,
was enough regulation the last 4 years.
mm,
And I personally have seen or observed some weirdos out there that probably shouldn't be in our society,
mm,
right? Just through the news and just stuff that people are. Some people, when you bring them in from another country or a different, they're still stuck at a different time, and they're not ready for this kind of a nation, right? That we're so much more are supposed
mm,
to be so much more advanced. But at the same
Yeah.
time, in the midst of how we're doing this, we are really taking some rights away from people that we should not be taking away these rights. People that would be
Right.
valuable members of our nation, some of the people who would help, push this nation forward in ways that, you
Hmm.
know, they contribute to our society. So it's like, well, I think one of the
Yep.
saddest things I've seen is, or the saddest rules out there, is that children don't have representation anymore. So children who
Hmm.
are alone here, they're going to
Yeah.
court and fighting the legal system by themselves,
Hmm.
which, some of this legal stuff, it's even harder, it's even difficult for attorneys to fathom or understand, especially in this administration, new rules are constantly coming up. So just imagine a child out there in front
Constantly.
of a judge, and the judge has to decide what they're going to do with this person. Kid has no idea, right? The kid has no idea what's going on and what's happening to him. Just a really, really sad way of doing it. I'm sure there's better ways of doing it instead of going in like full force as we are.
Hmm.
And I also think when you empower any agency as much as we have empowered
Hmm.
ICE, any enforcement authority, there's going to be some stuff that happened that should not be happening.
Definitely,
Um,
definitely, the abuse of power is very much on display. And it is just sad, to see all the injustice. I mean, I get it, when we have, rules and laws in order, but when you're bypassing it, when you got your own agenda, you're arresting judges, you're, deporting US citizens, when you're, not following through with court orders, it is just one more reason why it's like, this system is failing us. No one's, I mean, there are people that are fighting, they're objecting. Obviously, this administration has just been relentless. And it makes me very sad to be associated, with all the shit, being an American. It just, I don't like it. It's obviously, you got to be fair about it. Have, do things the right way. There's a right way to do things, and
yeah.
it's not the right way.
No, we're doing it in a very, very unethical way. We're violating due process rights. I think, some
Correct.
say, these constitutional rights only belong to U.S. citizens, but I think that that's not the case, right? I
Yeah.
mean, at some point, this country was, and this country's pretty much been built off the backs of immigrants. Um,
Yeah.
so, you know, I understand what the need for expelling the bad apples is, right? I get that.
Yeah.
I get the point of doing that. But, setting quotas and demanding, high numbers of deportations and removal proceedings and overwhelming the courts and doing things that are not legally sound. Well, at
Yeah.
what point are you committing a crime? Right? At
Mhm.
what point, it's almost like we don't have a democratic system right
No,
now.
it's very much
So
authoritarian.
yeah, and I don't think that's gonna. It's the thing is, a lot of people are backing this, and they fully um, want the immigration numbers to, they fully believe that people were coming here illegally and it wasn't helping out the country. But hey, you watch these reels on Instagram and Facebook, and you realize that people are severely misinformed about those who are undocumented. Like the reel that you and I were talking about, how asking about, somebody was saying how undocumented people pay no taxes, right? Well, that's actually
That's
false.
not true. Yeah, it's false. Exactly.
They're more inclined to pay their taxes and not get benefits back so that they can stay here, right? They don't want to be in a position where they're going to be in this situation that they are now, while following the rules.
Yeah,
I mean,
it just seems like we're fulfilling our own
yeah,
demise, our own prophecy. And it's funny too, because I saw one of those videos we were talking about. Yeah, that was one with the taxes, not realizing like you can't have it both ways. You can't, I mean, you're going to have immigrants that pay their taxes, or you're going to get rid of them and you're going to lose all that money.
yeah,
The other part of that was, I think it was Nebraska that was very much highlighted, that it was a majority that voted for this administration. And now most of the farmers are just going under bankruptcy because of this. This is what they voted for. And they don't have any workers, any labor workers that want to work there because they're afraid to get deported. So now because of that, they're struggling so much that I've heard something about like, oh, in the next couple months they're just going to be completely bankrupt from, not being able to meet the demand.
you just think about what that's gonna. It's a cycle. You don't feel it yet, but you're gonna feel it eventually. It's the nation's built on immigrants coming here and
Yeah,
contributing to our everyday lives, right? I mean, I think there was a couple of months back where a lot of Hispanics, mainly Mexicans, they had shut down their stores, right? It was like a day of protest, and people are walking up to these stores and they're like upset at why these stores are not open.
yeah,
Their favorite bodega is not open, or their favorite Mexican restaurant is not open. And it comes, and then it's like, well, hey, you can't have both ways. You can't want their food, but then not want them here, right?
yeah,
And that's one of the scariest things about this administration. It's playing out again. It's that
yeah.
it fuels hate, right? And it shouldn't.
Feels very much like that. Well, I think more than anything, immigrants are the scapegoat. It's
Yeah,
it's
for
always been
now,
the
that's them. It's
scapegoat.
them. Yeah,
But yeah, once you see how this is a symbiotic relationship and how much all of this is going to affect your economy, it's going to hit really soon. I mean, tariffs is another thing. It's just not realizing like, hey, don't buy Chinese, don't buy from imports. We're going to quickly feel that. I mean, Amazon was already there. Like they're already like, well, hey, guess what? Because of the cost for this product, we're gonna, put it into the consumer and we're gonna highlight it. We're showing that this administration, because of the tariffs, if you want this product, the Chinese don't pay for it, or the foreigners don't pay for it. You as the consumer pays for it. And I
yeah.
think a lot of people just didn't realize that, we're
And
just misinformed.
and it's not just like the main product, right? Even like a U.S. based company that's building a product and needs to order these parts from China, or they're going
Yeah.
to be paying extra money. And what happens is that money is passed on to the consumer. So, you
I
know,
love how China became so petty. Like you hear all those TikToks of like, well, hey, if you want to just buy directly from us, like here you go. We won't charge you tariffs. Uh,
it's crazy. I mean, how much was the tariffs he had put up? I heard about something about 125%.
125%. And
That's
then he scaled
crazy.
back. I love how China called them out on like, yeah, we've been talking to China. Like, no, you haven't. Like, we have not had any conversation. We have not talked to you about any deals. And they're like, oh, well, we haven't just made them public. That's just it. And then China just straight up like, nope, we haven't talked to you. They are petty at their finest. And if he wants to go to a trade war and not realize that, they're cheap, they could throw cheap goods at us at a fraction of what we charge and be better products. So, yeah,
Crazy
you're picking
mistakes.
a fight with the wrong person.
You are 110%. But
But hey,
yeah,
let people feel it and realize it. And I hope, again, it's that old saying. So give a person enough rope, they're gonna hang themselves. What is his lowest approval rating at what? 40%, the lowest of any president in 70 years or 100 years. It's just people are catching on.
You know, it's I'm really hoping this is going to be the end of it. And, a lot of the things he's done and said has really benefited his business allies. Um, it's really turning into, I mean, if you recall, maybe about like more than 10 years ago when that protest against the 1% started.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yep.
This seems like it's one of those situations where they're trying to turn that around, right? Undo that, the
Mm.
doings of that. Because
So, what do you mean?
like just think about what he did with the stock market not too long
Mm.
ago,
Yes.
right? And
He
all his
manipulated
business.
it based off his tariffs, based off um even pointed it out in a press conference. I'm like, oh yeah, my friend over here, he made $1 billion and
Yeah, exactly.
he
That's what I'm
made
talking
800
about.
million, like, pissing in everyone's face about it, how they
Yep.
made money off of it.
Yep.
Uh, but no one seems to do anything about it.
And this is what people don't understand. They say we got billionaires in office right now, and what do you think they're looking for? They're protecting their own bottom line, right?
Yeah. It's all
Not
greed.
everybody in this country is a billionaire, man. Right? So it's that whole trickle down effect, right? It's basically non-existent. So now you have, or what you're gearing into are situations where you
Mm.
know people don't fully grasp what's happening here. And I think that by the time the impact or the effects of it come around, it might be a little too late.
Yes. Yeah, it's that old saying that kind of with AI, it's like if by the time you realize it's a problem, it's already too late.
100%.
Yeah.
The AI is pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. We use it all the time as we were talking about. So it's very much a great tool for
When
yeah. Go ahead.
when used responsibly.
Yes. When used responsibly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm over here checking it. See, I need to turn off my emails.
We
I'm over here just checking emails. But yeah, COIs, we were talking about that earlier.
oh,
Um, yeah, I mean, where do you think we're going to be in another 10 years or another 5 years? It seems like that AI, I mean, you've seen the videos. You've seen how like crazy those like AI images and AI videos are just like, what the hell is that? It's just it looks so lifelike and it looks so real. It's like
yeah.
it's just getting more and more unable to realize, if it's real or not. Especially like if you see something like with a celebrity or someone famous, like I don't even know if it's real. Unless it's
Yeah.
on like shaky cam or something like who knows, man.
You know, I'm so happy I'm married. I'm sure you are too, because a lot of people in the dating scene, and especially because a lot of people meet through the online, you're
Yeah.
not gonna know if you're not gonna know if that person you're meeting is actually how they look or not. You know, it's AI is changing things, but it can be used in very evil ways too.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna start seeing how people are going to be using it for those evil, with those evil intentions.
I
And I
mean,
think that
you could do it on video conferencing, man. You could change your face, you could change your body appearance. I saw where there was a software that turns you could change your gender, and then people were already putting articles out that like, oh yeah, you're gonna see all these like fake OnlyFans of girls like, just posing naked. It's gonna be like some dude like
I saw that on Instagram yesterday.
yeah,
I was a face. Somebody was like, uh, they were like making the poses, and it was like, the bigger video was a girl, and then in the like a picture in picture was a dude showing like, hey, I'm making my bills off your husband.
yeah,
So yeah, it's crazy.
bro. It's nuts. This economy, new economy really of OnlyFans and AI generated stuff. I mean, it, we got to hop on this, man. We're pretty smart. I think we can figure out a couple of guys that could generate some content for us. We could probably put it on our servers, or there's always
Oh,
money to
you
be made.
just need to be able to get a little robot to like do a little feminine stuff and have it recorded, and that'll become like, turn that
Well,
into a female, and boom.
they have these AI companions too, man. They have like, the people that are alone. That's an economy all its own, the lonely economy, because it's sad that, you hear all these horror stories. More men are choosing just to be single just because, been they've had their heart broken, and so they rather just be alone. They rather just talk to an AI companion. They rather buy a pocket pussy.
I think that all of this is it's
What?
gonna change the landscape. I mean, we didn't grow up in this
That's
times, right? We
No,
we
we
grew up
didn't.
with human interaction
Human
and
interactions.
you know,
Cheers.
uh, cheers. But nowadays things have become, I don't know, too robotic. But hey, I'm not gonna lie, those new Tesla robots, definitely want one. It'd be nice to have one to like bring the groceries up the stairs. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
those Optimus Prime ones.
Yeah, those are pretty cool, man. Not gonna lie about it.
Oh, those Boston Dynamic robots that you do see, those ones are pretty cool, but Tesla ones, I don't know. Like they did an event and it was a person in a suit, like that was serving drinks.
It was actually
So
like a
I
person in a
don't think
suit.
their technology is there yet.
Uh,
Boston Dynamics is, because you've seen the demos, those guys are doing flips. You've seen the elevate or evolution of where it started and where it's at. So it's yeah, they got that down.
and the question becomes: is when are we replaceable?
Oh, very
Right,
soon, man.
right.
Well,
When this
workers are going to be replaced. You got Amazon that already has those little smart pallets that just drives around, that just saves on efficiency. And then
that's
you got McDonald's that are is going completely humanless, no humans. So it's all robots. So we're right there, man.
Do you
We're on the
remember those
cusp.
cartoons? Remember those cartoons when we were kids? Like the robots take over the world and turn on us. I feel like that's gonna
Well,
happen. That's probably the next
Terminator,
20
man.
years. Terminator, there you go.
Perfect example.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the
We're,
Matrix. We're going to be turned into batteries.
we're headed in that direction, 100%,
Yes.
guys.
And here's the thing, no one's slowing down because you could always count on people's ignorance and laziness.
That's true.
And
That's
that's
true.
that's our that's how we fall. That's how
Yeah.
we just not with a bang, but by a whimper.
Mankind will not exist as you know it.
Who knows, man? We'll shoot our little embryos out into space. See what happens. I don't know. We'll colonize Mars. We'll colonize the moon. I don't know.
Crazy, crazy stuff.
Speaking of movies, give me your top five.
Oh man, top
Any
five.
genre. Top five that just come to your mind of like, boom.
First two's got it. Well, first three's got to be Godfather 1, 2, and 3. Oh, not 3. Godfather's 1, 2.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
not three. I was gonna
yeah.
joke you right there with that.
3 was not that good.
No.
Uh,
One and two.
Scarface, great movie.
Mm, I'm
Um,
seeing a theme.
I like those mafia movies, right? Those little gangster movies.
Or if you're gonna throw
Um,
in those ones, you gotta throw in Goodfellas and Casino.
oh yes, Goodfellas for sure. Casino. You got my top five right there. That's it.
Right there, man. Just yeah, classic.
What was that movie? The Bronx.
Bronx Tale.
Bronx Tale. There you go. That was a good movie too.
I just recently watched it, man. It came out in 4K, so I'm a movie enthusiast, as you could tell. I mean, I got my movie theater seats for this is my little movie theater. Um, I love just what do you call it? Just the quality pick. I just bought Tombstone on 4K, man.
Oh,
I've owned it like 3 times on DVD, on Blu-ray. Now I own it on 4K, so it's like if the picture's better, I am all for it. It's a different way of enjoying it. You notice
what's
it.
your top five?
Oh man, I don't know. It's hard. Uh, if I had to, like had to, Gladiator,
Well, that's a good movie.
Saving Private Ryan, uh, Titanic, Schindler's List, and Back to the Future.
Back to the Future is a good one too.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
Oh, it's by like everything just on its own. The music, the acting, the directing, the edits, it's just perfect.
Still gotta go with The Godfather, man. That was
See, The Godfather, I think I saw it late in life, but I think if I would have seen it in 1972, I would have been like, whoa, what the hell is this?
little
Like
bit of
there's
timing.
never been anything like this before, ever. But
Yeah.
I think since it's kind of turned into, the zeitgeist, the culture of like, hey, I'm gonna make him enough or he can't refuse. It's one of those things where it's almost became a cliche, even with the Godfather petting the cat and he's got
See,
those fake chops.
I'm originally from New York, so that's why I felt The
Okay.
Godfather, man. I felt The Godfather. I was like, wow, this movie. I
And
don't
that's
want to
why you
get
like the Bronx Tale, and that's why you
yeah,
like a Goodfellas and
yeah.
hey,
Hey,
hey, and you probably like Sopranos.
Sopranos was good too. Yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah.
I,
How about top five TV shows?
oh man, right now I gotta say, you know, the most recent shows I've seen, I gotta say Power, one of the
Okay.
top ones. Even their spinoffs, the spinoffs have been great.
Hmm.
That's just a great universe. I think Power Universe has been awesome. Their storylines are so good. I don't know if I was telling you about that show. Have you
You
about
were.
those that entire
And
universe? Have you even?
it's on my to-do list to
Yeah,
watch. And you know what? I'm looking for like, okay, me and my wife, we have our evening TV show that we watch.
yeah.
But in the morning when I have my cup of coffee, I like a good morning show to kind of like, like right now it's been like what is it? A good morning show that I've been watching are the like Andor, the new series that came out, Invincible, that animated show, which is really good. Uh The Pit, which I started watching on HBO. Those have been like my little morning shows just to catch myself up on. Like, oh, okay, have my cup of coffee and just watch that. Just wait till 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock rolls around. I'm right in front of my laptop or my computer, and I'm right here. I'm working, so it's kind of my little morning routine. Cup of coffee, a TV show, or YouTube videos. Like I'll have my channels, and I'll just look for any new uploads, like movie reviews. I like movie reviews. I love, uh, you know, retro gaming. I'll follow retro gaming. So a lot of little things. So, but yeah, I will definitely put Power on my little morning routine. So
You
I'll
got to
check out
add it
the first
there.
one. But
It's so good.
go on with your list. What else?
Oh man, Squid Games definitely a good
Really?
one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good. That was really interesting.
I haven't seen season two. So
It's pretty good. It's really good.
okay.
They take a little break, so the second half of season two hasn't started yet.
Okay.
So you should watch.
So
You should,
maybe I'll wait till the second half comes on.
then you can see all of it. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
definitely wait. Uh, Trying to think back, man. Um, Smallville was pretty good. Remember
Smallville?
Smallville? Yeah, it was pretty
I
good.
didn't I never got into it, but I heard a lot of good stuff about it.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Oh, going back to your movies now that I just mentioned Smallville, The Dark Knight. We got to add that. The Dark Knight, actually, all three of them. It was Dark Knight and Dark Knight
Really?
Rises, right? And there was another one,
Yeah, Batman
the
Returns.
trilogy, right?
Or not Batman Returns. It was Batman Begins.
Yeah, all no,
Batman
all the
Begins, Dark Knight, and
uh,
Dark Knight Rises.
for me it was oh yeah, Batman Begins, yeah. So all three of those, the trilogy was just I like that trilogy. I don't think there's been a Batman that's been as good as Christopher as Mr. Bale since him and before him.
Say that again.
I don't think there's been a better Batman. You know, even if even
Are you saying Christian Bale was a good Batman?
yeah, I like him.
No.
No, you didn't like him?
He plays a good Bruce Wayne,
Ah,
but
come
not
on.
Batman.
You did
I
a
don't
good
want to
job as
hear that
Batman.
voice. I don't want to hear that voice. Like I will put Ben Affleck's Batman over him.
No way, no way. Ben Affleck was just a weird Batman. He didn't
I
even
will
fit the
put
scene.
his Batman over Christian Bale's Batman.
No way. No way. Not
Because the
happening.
voice is what lost me. I don't
I
want
mean,
to
when
do
you
this anymore.
what about the latest Batman? I mean, it was more of like the comic book series, I guess, but
I
he's
I
too good.
like what's his face's Batman? God, I can't think of his name. Damn, I can't think of his name.
The latest one?
Yeah.
You're talking
I
about
keep thinking of Edward, but that's his character's name in fucking Twilight.
yeah, that's what I was
Uh
thinking too.
Patrick? Is it Patrick?
Yeah,
Robert Pattinson. Robert
there you
Pattinson.
go.
God damn it.
Robert Patterson.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I don't
Patterson
like
or
that Batman.
Patson?
Patterson, I think.
Patterson?
Patterson. Now you got me questioning myself. I don't even know. But
I want to say Patson.
I did not like his Batman.
You want to bet? Or you want to throw a little Patson or Patterson?
I'm gonna go with Patterson.
Patterson it is. Let's see. Because yeah, we're not high on his uh Pattinson.
Is it Pattinson?
Yep.
Oh, geez.
If you could see it. Uh probably not.
Yeah. No, I see it. I see it.
Yeah, because I don't know
Wow.
why I kept thinking Pattinson. And I'm like, pretty sure it's Pattinson.
I didn't like his Batman. It was weird.
I liked it. I like his take on it.
It's more aligned with
Um,
the comic books, right?
no, but that was more Ben Affleck's Batman. So Ben Affleck's Batman was more in line with like the real Batman, like a Frank Miller. So,
I think Ben
but
Affleck
not
was not a
Christian
good
Bale,
Batman.
man. I'm sorry, man.
Man, Christian Bale killed that role.
He killed it as Bruce Wayne because he was that American psycho, that rich, put together, I know how to, work a room. Um, yeah, he's
Where
a
is he? Come on.
yeah.
Where is he?
No, but as a Batman, your best one is Michael Keaton, man.
Yeah, he was
He didn't have to say much. He
best
just did.
Joker. Best Joker.
Oh, best Joker. I don't know, man. I mean, you got your top threes. I'm not gonna fucking even mention Jared Leto, but you got your Nicholson, you got your Heath Ledgers, and then you got, of course, your Joaquin Phoenix. So if I had like his essence, his Joker essence, uh, I got to go with Mark Hamill. Oh, the fourth one,
I gotta go with
the cartoon series. For those that don't know who I'm talking about, the cartoon animated series, that Joker, that's the real Joker that had that perfect laugh, that psychoticness, that
yeah,
just did not give a fuck, and would do weird shit just for the sake of weird shit.
the
But yeah,
dark
you also
side of the
have
Joker. The dark
what?
side of the Joker, I think that was born within Heath Ledger. The
Okay.
violent side, the dark side, the
Yes.
manipulative side, right?
Yes.
The
Well,
psychotic side is
I love the
Joaquin Phoenix.
dialogue that they gave him in The Dark Knight, because it was
Yeah,
like, yeah, I wouldn't know what to do if I caught it. I just do. I just,
yeah,
it's like, I'm burning my half of the money. It's like,
Yeah,
That just goes to show you that's all you care about, you know. It's not about money, it's about sending a message. And
yeah,
then even better that reinforced that was, you know, his butler, what's his name? Alfred.
yeah,
He mentioned some men just want to watch the world burn. You
yeah,
know, it's like perfect. That is the
yeah.
Joker.
That was a good movie. That right there was good. And also, you said shows. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be part of the top five, but it's a great show right now. It's been in the first season at least. The Penguin was
Okay.
a great
Yeah.
first season. Have you seen it?
Mhm.
Yeah, the first season was just amazing.
It
I
was
think,
good, but recapping it now as a whole,
yeah,
it doesn't have a whole lot of rewatchability.
definitely not. I wouldn't watch it a second time. But I mean, the
Yeah,
ending
it's
was
just one
kind
of
of,
those as a nice little appetizer.
yeah,
It was good just because the dude was so good as that role. Like he's plays that gritty type of penguin that was
play
more
that role.
grounded. I
Yeah,
loved DeVito's penguin, which was more like dark and Tim Burton like, you know, with the dark circles and you know, that was cool. I like that was
I'm getting a theme here. You like the cartoon slash comic version of these characters.
I like the darkerness of it. So I'm more of that Tim Burton darkness. So,
Gotcha,
you know,
gotcha.
like the first Batman, the first Penguin. But I grew up watching the 60s one. So you had Adam West, like,
Pow,
pow. Exactly, dude. So
bang.
bang, boom to the
Yeah,
moon.
yeah, I grew up on that too. Those were actually the very first Batmans as far as shows go. Like that, I think that's those set of shows got me into that
Yes.
series. Oh, crazy how it's evolved.
You really think about this because I was having this thought yesterday. I love movies and you know the latest trend as of the last 10, 15 years has been superheroes. But even before the whole superhero genre came about, everyone always loved a good story about a hero. So if you think about it, I mean, we grew up with like action movies.
Yeah,
Action movies, we had our heroes. You had your Stallones, you had your Schwarzeneggers, you had your Van Dams. They were the heroes in our movies. They were like the badass dudes. So in the sense, it brought us to that realisticness of, you know, like, oh, you don't have to have superpowers, you know, because I guess even in the 60s, you know, they grew up with comic books that they idolized more superheroes. And
mhm,
then it kind of came more grounded as the 70s and 80s rolled around. It became more like you could have heroes in these movies that were more action based, military based, or, you know, with good hard work, training, you could be a badass. You could be a John McCain or not McCain. Is it McCain? You know what I'm thinking about, right? Die Hard.
yes,
Is it McCain? I
I
could be
don't think
wrong.
so.
I don't know. But
John
yeah,
McCain.
Die Hard.
I didn't really watch Die Hard that much like that.
Die Hard, man. That's everyone
You're
trying
like
to mimic it.
go home watch it right now.
Go
You're
my
like you
shit.
gotta watch
But
it.
yeah, you know, you had your average kind of guy, you know, regular cop, you know, saving the situation, saving the moment, saving the people from terrorists. So yeah, I think we're all intrigued by the hero of the story, whether he's super or whether he's just a regular guy.
That's true.
Yeah.
The hero of the story, but then at some point when the hero becomes a villain, then it's also interesting. Remember those WWE? Remember you ever watched
Another
WWF?
yes, another great note on The Dark Knight, you know, you either die the hero
Yeah,
or you live long enough to become the villain.
exactly. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
That was such a nice, like, that was the perfect quote. You know, um, sometimes I still use that quote.
Yeah.
You know, a movie's
Well,
good when you go away with the tagline.
yes. Well, anytime you have good quotable quotes and anytime you have something to take away from it that maybe wasn't presented in the right way where you kind of it's a scenario where you kind of see yourself like, oh, okay, like I can see that happening. I could see me making that choice. The best
Yeah,
movies are the ones where you could visualize yourself in that situation where you could it makes you think, what would I
yeah,
do in that situation? How would I
yeah,
feel in that
exactly.
situation? The movies that really invoke your soul, in which I'll give you a great recommendation, which I always recommend everybody. And if you want to write it down or I'll text it to you, but it's called Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Is that a movie or a show?
It's a movie. So I'll text it
Yeah,
to you, but it's a great concept because it's very thought provoking. It's very thought provoking just because it mind fucks you in that I'm gonna erase my memory and you're put in that situation where it's like you realize, when you erase memories, you're not only erasing the bad ones, but you're erasing the good ones.
good ones. Yeah,
Yeah. So
that
it's really good, strong cast like Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood, Tom Wilkinson, Kristen Dunst. I mean, bro, right there, that's like 7, 8 members right now that I rattled off that are high caliber actors.
oh man, trying to think here of like well,
Well,
Jim Carrey, The Mask.
okay.
That was
Hmm.
actually a good movie.
But this is where we're gonna end things because it's been an hour, more than an hour, and I usually like to wrap things up like within an hour because otherwise we just rattle on. It's just two old guys rattling. So I like to get to the meat and potatoes, and then we'll try to save this for another time because I'm gonna try to re-up this podcast. I want to make sure I get enough guests involved, and definitely want to bring you back on because I want to talk more professionally too. I know we had our little political rant, we had our little sports rant, but I think for an audience that wants to see, how we conduct ourselves, I want to see more of that. I want to see more of like, okay, like in this situation, how would you handle this? Or in this situation, um, what's the right path? And we want to be that little beacon of like example. So
Yeah,
I want to talk more of that.
always a pleasure. Thank you for having me this time.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to the next one. If you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, put a comment. Thank you so much.